I'm Jake.
I'm Genevieve.
And this is our 1980s Trident companion, Micro Caravan.
We can't wait for her to join us on our adventures, but let's face it, she needs a little bit of love. So, welcome to our caravan renovation. Hello and welcome back to episode 3 of the caravan renovation. Today we are going to show you a little bit of what we've been doing inside because it's now very, very empty. The last time you saw us we were starting to take the interior out and taking the last of the stickers off, and now there is nothing. It's all very sparse and ready to start being built back up again. We are also going to take the body off the frame and get the frame powder coated because it needs a little bit of work and a little bit of help to stay perfect for us for the next few years. And but first Jake needs to do a bit of welding on it, so that's why we're taking it off today. This is our very empty caravan. There's not really very much to talk about in there now, other than the fact that there's nothing in there. There's a odd pipe and wire and one last bit of wood that we can't figure out where the screws are.
Difficult to get out that one.
And other than that, she's not got much in there.
No, I will say with taking this out, because I did this off camera when you were obviously at home and everything else like that, but that was a right pain to get out, a real bugger to do with that. Screws didn't want to come out. You had to try and get them over the top of these legs, which are the original holes for basically what these legs down here are doing, because I got those to work as well with lots and lots of WD-40. And also, last time we fitted these, and these are working well. These are double strength of what we had previously, which obviously were not strong enough. So now they're doing a great job. And look, the 3D printed parts are still holding up as well. Admittedly, it hasn't had much use as of yet, because obviously it's been in the garage underway. But
it opens and closes very reliably.
It does, and the fact that it doesn't feel like it might fall at any minute is also
reassuring.
Yes, that. But yes, the interior is now very bare. It's just left basically the bare minimum. Little bits which we can't quite get out just there in the corner, but it's not massively important that we do. The gas line that comes through here, that's still here. The electrics cable, the electrics box on there, which we'll be getting out at some point soon. It's all making good progress, but as Genevieve says, today's challenge: get the body off the frame, do a bit of welding on it, and then send the frame off to be powder coated. First step in getting the body off then is to actually lift up the frame so it's all off the ground so we can get underneath it, because the mounting points for it all underneath here. So the plan is get it up onto the axle stands, just roll underneath and hopefully undo them. The points are all easily accessible with that. But I think before we do any of that, we're going to try and get the front box off as well. That's quite simple because it's only held in with 4 bolts. There's 1, there's 2, 3 and 4 just down there. There's quite a bit to do with it, but it's not too challenging as far as we're aware. But I'm guessing rusty nuts and bolts are going to be quite an issue with this, so we have actually completely covered them in lubricating stuff, WD-40, plus gas, you name it, all those things, it's all on there. So hopefully that should mean removing this should be a bit easier, he says.
You're asking me if I'm alright there. Look at you. Ready? Oh no, you need to push yourself over a bit.
Stop. In the wheel.
My hand's shaking so much because it's very cold here today.
We've just undone the bolts on this, hence why we've got all the nuts and the washers everywhere. Now it's time to lift the front box off. So it's quite light actually.
It's just a bit of an awkward shape.
It is very awkward. There is one thing we need to do actually, and that's undo the pipe that goes from where the gas was kept in here to the actual metal line going through into the caravan. So if we undo that, we can pull this off, and then
we could get a rabbit and take it on holiday with us.
yeah, boy.
That one done.
That's one down. 6 to go. Fun fact actually, a little tip with this, tighten it up a little bit first and then it should help release it a bit. Didn't know whether you knew that one, but
I didn't. I'm sure lots of people do, but
probably.
not me. Look how dirty that is. It's disgusting.
It is. Right, second one. Whoever that one is, just here.
Jake likes to make lots of noise. 4:30 in the afternoon.
There we go. So we have had a somewhat successful day with the caravan, with actually trying to get it off the frame. Okay, physically it isn't off of the frame, but it is at least released, and between 4 people we have checked this. You can actually lift it up from it now, which is...
it's quite heavy.
It is quite heavy, but yeah, we've lost the light outside now, and
It started raining.
it's raining, it's cold. I'm still wearing the stuff from just cutting off the final few bolts, which didn't want to release. So I think tomorrow's job is take the body off and, yeah, prepare the frame for the metal, which should be arriving someday next week. But lucky you don't have to wait until next week. You can just watch this in a couple of seconds when we go on to that bit. But
No.
yes, farewell for now almost. Yes, so I can't word, it's too late in the evening. Successfully, we've managed to get the box off the front. As you can see somewhere, that's you. There we go. Managed to get the box all off the front, which is great, and that is now just sat in front of the Mini just for now. But yeah, tomorrow, actually get the thing off, have a look, inspect, and see if there's any more welding to do other than the little additional bits I want to add to it. But yes, for today, bye, see you in the morning, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You joined me a couple of days later. The body has been taken off of the frame, and here it is. We didn't actually film taking the body off because, 1, it isn't massively exciting, and 2, it required 4 people, and unfortunately when some of those people aren't too happy about being on camera, you've got to respect their wishes. So we didn't film that, and this is now the frame, and this is where we're left. And actually, I have to say, it's really only surface rust on here. I can't imagine the frame is that old. By which I mean, I don't think it's the original at all, judging by the way everything is mounted on here. Also, this looks a little bit like a home done job. But yes, we took the body off the frame to go and obviously get it powder coated, but also we wanted to check it out, see if there's any areas that required attention, as well as me doing a little bit with the, I guess the foot plates, we might call it, here at the front. But we have found somewhere that does need attention on here. The majority of it is actually okay. I would say probably around 99% of it's okay. However, this bit, which I've obviously written weld on to identify as somewhere that needs welding, it looks like it's an area that's either been doubly attached down this end and then welded to this to create a bit more strength, or that whole piece is just one long piece running from the tow hitch all the way back to here. But because of the unique way this frame's been built, in that it bends and curves and everything else, this bit's been cut down there to make the bend easier. And I think what's happened is that the weld on here, it looks to me as if the weld has given up. So that's something to fix first of all before we get into any of the exciting welding, by which I mean actually adding stuff to it rather than just repairing. But whilst I've got the chance to fix it, I'm going to go ahead and do that. The thing about the welding is repairing this is actually going to be quite straightforward. The plan is simple: grind off any excess surface rust, get it back to a clean metal, and then obviously just weld along and repair that, and maybe add a little bit of bracing as well. But the thing is, because I live in the UK is infamous with its weather, and the fact we are also in spring, the weather can change quite quickly. It is around about 11 o'clock now. The sky is currently overcast and the rain is scheduled to hit in about 2 or 3 hours time roughly, by which time I want to be in the garage. Now yes, I could weld inside the garage, but there's quite a lot of flammable stuff in there, and obviously I'd rather not set my house on fire today. So obviously I'm going to do as much as I can outside, but I think the important thing is repairing that weld here and also getting the new step plate on the front, which I've got lovely metal in there for as well. So I've been busy with the grinder, as you just saw, just got all the paint and surface rust off of there, and now that's exposed the crack quite nicely, which is obviously where I need to weld along. I'm probably going to put some form of plate over here just to give it a bit of extra strength as well, but I've got some zinc weld through primer for that. Obviously I still need to get underneath to do the underside, because that is also cracked. If we have a quick look under here, just there. Don't know how well it's showing up on the camera. I can only see the screen, it's not showing up too well for me, but for you it might be different. Anyway, need to get that bit now with the grinder as well. That bit there is just ground off for an earthing point for the welder. Obviously up on axle stands. And some carpet is down, because fun fact, the carpet is actually a very good fire deterrent. This is all obviously designed to prevent a fire if there is ever a fire in a house, on a boat or wherever. So if you're ever doing something like welding or grinding or whatever, you use some carpet, it won't catch fire, which is great for me because the ground is still quite wet from this morning. The welding is now done. You can't really see where the weld was, which is brilliant, and that's all nice and strong and all done, so top job there. And it has also just started to rain, typically. What I've done, because it's not raining too hard, it's only drizzle at the minute, just marked up the metal where I need to cut it, just along this line here behind my finger. So cut that down. This is the bit we're using. Obviously do 2 for each side, so we can have a little bit left, but that's fine. Probably can make use of that for a bit of extra strength on it. So it's all coming together slowly. So the idea is weld one side down somewhere along here where my mark is, there it is, and then onto this bit in the middle, and obviously on the other side exactly the same again. Alrighty then, so part one is done. Obviously, second part over there to do yet. So I've just got this held in place with the right angled magnet. So I know that is nice and straight. That's where it needs to be. The cut's just there, so that way then that will push down there. And it is fully level. I've put a spirit level on it. And that's dead center, which is brilliant. The trailer is all leveled as much as possible, or the frame, shall I say. So really, that is as much as I can do for a minute, until obviously grinding away the galvanized skin of this bit and all the paint and rust and all the other bits of rubbish that are there. And then obviously other side, but I'm going to do the other side first, get that all sorted out, and then after that get out of this rain, because it's only just getting heavier. It's not going to go away. It's settled in for the rest of the day now, I think. That was a loud bird. Second piece is now marked up, so what I actually do is just line it up on the frame, see where it needs to be, then take it over here, use my square just to obviously square it off, get it all right as it needs to be, and then once that's all done we go and cut it. So now this is the right size. I've just marked it up just there, so I know exactly what bit needs to come out. There's not a lot that needs to come off it really. It's just a very slight angle. You can probably just about see it. One thing I will say is the 3D printer is very useful. I cannot put into words how useful it is. So before I got the metal the other day from the metal store, great website, check them out, link in the description. I printed off this, which is the exact same size, I guess, other than the fact that it's not got slightly rounded edges, but never mind, it was enough just to get an idea. And with that, I've been able to cut down the exact size that's required. So now I'm using that as a bit of a template on that. Obviously not such a good point of reference there, but if I put it like that, okay, it's the other way around, but if we look at it from above, you get a good picture of how that works. Yes, this costs only something stupid like 3p in filament. So when you look at it that way, if I screw up this, it's not so bad, but if I screw up that, it's the only bit of metal I got. Last thing you want to do is mess it up. 3D printers are brilliant things. Just about to weld this little bit of metal just on the end here, because that way then it means when I put the skin over to actually create the step on the frame, that way then I've got something to mount it into. Obviously I will have to cut a little bit off the edge here, but it's all part of the course, isn't it? These are the two bits now, all welded up on the ends, as you can see. Looking good. I've put some zinc weld through primer on there as well, just to help protect the bits inside, which you're never going to actually see, but again, every little helps, although this metal is actually as thick as the metal on the frame, and that's lasted a long time, so I can't see that having any problems per se. But whilst that's drying, what I'm going to do is grind away here and clear it all up so that I've got a clean base to weld to. So that should be fun, and obviously on the other side. So all the weld through primer is dry, that is in place, as you can see by my mark, which is meant for the back edge, which is brilliant. Just holding it in on the other side with the welding magnets, it's all earthed. The only thing left to do is weld that into place. It is now about 20 to 6 in the evening, and you can see whereabouts we've got to. I left you with me still doing some cutting and some welding and things like that, and since then I've really got on with other things. So we've now got an aluminium plate on here, which looks very nice, diamond effect as well, so basically a step plate. This is my template just over here, made out of cardboard, and it's just literally flipped over because it's exactly the same both sides. The only difference between them is this, which is the gas pipe connector, so I'm going to have to work out exactly what I need to do to get around that. I've just drawn that up provisionally on there, but it may not stay quite like that. For those wondering, that there is not a gap that's unintentional, that's completely intentional. It's a bit of a drainage run for water, obviously, when it rains, so it can drain off down the sides and not just sit in there and rust my metal. Even though obviously we're getting it powder coated, the more you can do to prevent that, the better, which is great. But yes, the plate on here looks very good. The only problem is, as you can see, self-tappers just there, all the way across. Can't get any down into that bit just along here, which I guess is fine because you're not going to see that bit anyway when you've got the front box back on and everything else, so I'll probably just put that down with some super strong heavy adhesive. But yeah, so we have a look from the side. It isn't quite finished, it's still a little bit rough in places, need to file down the edges and smoothen it out somewhat, but I think it's looking good. I think it's a good start. You may have noticed the sound quality is a little bit different. That's because my microphone has since died, so I'm just using the microphone on the DJI, so I hope it's okay. Some small changes to make to this tomorrow. Got to trim a little bit off the edge just along here, which is not too bad. As little weight as possible is obviously best. But other than that, the welding is all done. That's probably the neatest one. Very pleased with that one. I actually found a bit more welding on the other side of this, which is why it's taken so long and why I have actually got both sides done. The plan today was to get both of these aluminium plates done. Obviously when it goes for powder coating, these are coming off again, which is why I'm not sticking these down permanently. But yes, tomorrow's job, I think, is work out exactly what I'm doing with that gas pipe connector, and then obviously build up the aluminium for the other side. Yeah, it's looking good, looking strong. I'm very pleased with this myself, and what I think is great about it is I can say I did it all myself, at least this bit. Obviously Genevieve's not here at the minute, she's currently, well, maybe not right now at this time of day, but she's at work with me and she's at home, and I have the day off, so may as well be somewhat productive. But yes, we shall continue this tomorrow, and I shall catch you then, I suppose. Goodbye for this evening. It is the next day. It's been a lot of work, but here is the end result. Self-tapered in place. I'm going to have to take it back off again when we get the frame powder coated in a couple of days' time. So this will now go back into the garage at the end of today and sit in there for a little bit until it actually goes away for coating. But I'm really pleased with the end result personally. Got these bits which fold over just here. There's the self-tapper, which holds it in place quite nicely, which I said I was going to do yesterday. Welds are on there. It's all nice and strong. You can actually stand there. I'm not going to do it at the minute because I don't want to muck up anything I've just done, by which I mean get all muddy. But yeah, end result, quite pleased with that. I'm going to have to put some very strong adhesive stuff, silicone type stuff along here, which will obviously keep that down, so I cannot get a drill in there. And look, this is all nicely cut out for the gas lines and everything else, so Gonna still have to file these off. They're only in temporarily. Underneath, if we have a quick look, good job I have a small camera. I'll look under there. Those little bits there are for the gas line to clip into when we're on the move. But yeah, overall, I'm very pleased with this. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this particular video. We focus more on the repairs on the frame and a little bit of modification with all of this. I certainly have. It's been good fun. Get to use my welder. I'm a happy boy. Next time, hopefully going to be focusing on the actual fiberglass body itself as well as the storage box, so don't forget to join us for that. Anyway, that's it from me for now, because obviously Genevieve isn't here as well to help me out with the outro, so farewell from me. See you in the next video.